And we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We're on a little better roll right now. We apologize for the FYNTV.com technical error, but I understand early on in the show we did redirect to our YouTube channel. So let me just say now before we get started, I'm your host, BKP. You're watching or listening to North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you would like to get in touch with the show, that is 706-889-9700. If you would like to email us, that is chief@fetchernews.com, chief@fetchernews.com, 706-889-9700. And then you can follow us on Twitter at FetcherNews, at FYN TV. And also, folks, if you will subscribe to our YouTube channel, FYN TV, Fetch Your News. Then anytime we're broadcasting live or we upload a video, you will get a notification on that. So if you can do that now, and find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. There's no hiding. You can't escape what's happening. Now, let me look at this really quick, okay? The Georgia delegation. Now, I want to set this up. Put up the Georgia delegation there, okay? And yesterday morning, the President of the United States unveiled, okay, unveiled his infrastructure bill that he wants $1.5 trillion. And in that picture there, from the left to right, Georgia Department of Natural Resources Commissioner Mark Williams, Georgia Department of Agriculture Gary Black, Georgia Speaker of the House David Ralston, Georgia Department of Transportation Commissioner Russell McMurray, and Georgia Department of Transportation Director of Planning Jay Roberts. That's who's in that picture. They attended that meeting yesterday morning, and we're going to talk specifically about Georgia, the $1.5 trillion infrastructure. Now, what is important here is we passed here in Georgia, okay, we passed, was it HB 170, the Transportation Funding Act, okay? And in the Transportation Funding Act, we raised taxes in Georgia almost $1 billion, like 800 and some $million. And this is from the Hill, okay? This is from the Hill on April 2nd of 2015. Georgia hikes gas tax, okay? Georgia is increasing the amount of money drivers in the state will have to pay at the pump to help pay for transportation projects. All right. The Georgia General Assembly has approved legislation to increase the gas tax to 26 cents per gallon starting July 1st, according to the report. The measure would replace an existing 19 cent per gallon sales tax with a fuel levy that would be dedicated solely to transportation projects, okay? The additional money for the Georgia road projects will be collected on top of the 18.4 cents per gallon federal gas tax. Now, before we get into, okay, before we get into the infrastructure too deep and leave those guys up there for a minute, I have a question for you, America. I asked my State Senator Steve Gooch, this one time. I've asked others at a different time. Amanda, let me ask you a question. Now, I got to bring you into this because you did so well on the first one, okay? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, because I don't know, you might be doing something in there. All right, she's ready. Now, when you go to the store, now I know you're going to say, quit asking dumb questions, all right? But when you go to the store and you check out at the grocery store and you look at your receipt on the bottom, can you see a subtotal And then can you see your taxes and then your total on that receipt?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Stay with me. Now you go over to the drugstore and you got to pick up some stuff. You know, you got to pick up some stuff. Everybody's got to have cotton swabs, right? We'll use cotton swabs, right? So you've run out of cotton. You got to go over there, get cotton swabs, get the peroxide, whatever the hell else you got to get. You got all these kids in the house. But at the end of when you check out, you see a subtotal, your tax, and a total, correct?
Yes.
When's the last time you went to the gas station and told them to give you 20 on pump 5, and when they printed you out a receipt, you saw anything that resembled the taxes you just paid on that $20?
Never.
Never. That's right. They will not show you on a receipt. I have argued that for years. If you went to the pump and you said, give me 20 on pump 10, all right? And you got 20 and you realized without state and federal taxes, you could have got another, what, 2 gallons of gas or something. I'm serious as can be. And I've heard there's such a fluctuation that there's no way to actually print out the tax on gas. It wouldn't be, it would be too cumbersome. I disagree, because you have 46 per gallon. Let's see, the American Petroleum Institute says the gas tax increase will keep the total amount of money that drivers in Georgia are charged at the pump to more than 46 cents per gallon, because it will offset by eliminating excise taxes. But the measure would replace that. But listen to this. In addition, the additional money for Georgia projects tops 18.4 cents for federal gas tax. Folks, your federal gas tax, I thought, was supposed to maintain infrastructure, okay? I thought fuel tax stickers. Remember the old fuel tax sticker? Do they still have them? I don't know. But I don't know if they do on truckers. Do truckers still pay a fuel tax sticker? Do they still have to buy a fuel tax sticker? I don't know. But I remember in the old days, the truckers had to buy a fuel tax sticker for every single state they entered into to pay for the trucks to run on their roads. We have had so many things in taxation to pay for us to use and upkeep our infrastructure. What's next? So, I mean, I just wanted to put that up. Now, I'm going to give the Speaker of the House an opportunity to tell us where this fits in. I do agree the infrastructure's crumbled. I myself have not traveled throughout the world, but I have friends that have traveled to talk about the major highways and the high-speed rail and just so many different things when it comes to transportation and infrastructure modernized in the world that we're actually behind. It is crumbling. I'm just going to take their picture down. This is not fair to them, okay? I'm just going to tell you this, all right? Whatever happens with the infrastructure projects in this country, please, my God, pay attention to how many bridges to nowhere get funded. I can start giving you highways, all right? All across this country that you could drive on and you can wonder, why did they build this highway? Bridges to nowhere. Please watch for this. You keep saying, I know what's happening. Well, Donald Trump will make sure of this and that. Folks, he is one man, one president of the United States. He is dealing with a complete corrupt Senate. When I say complete, I know. You just said, well, wait a minute, not every senator. But I'm talking in a total, a corrupt Senate that just Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell just gave you a spending bill. A corrupt House of Representatives. I'm sorry. They will take this money and put it on projects. I'm just saying. I probably shouldn't have got worked up over that one. Let's go with this next before we get to that. Let's put the... Did we already show the picture of Obama sitting there in the dew full of daisies? Let's show it again. What were you thinking, man? I mean, I might have to say that all day. What the hell were you thinking? Oh, my God. All right. Susan Rice, put her picture up there. Susan Rice, where's that at? All right, Judge Napolitano, which I like the judge, okay? Judge Napolitano reacted. Now, Susan Rice wrote a email on the day of inauguration, and Judge Napolitano has revelations that Obama administrator's advisor, Susan Rice, sent an unusual email to herself on Donald Trump's inauguration day. Ex-National Security Advisor Susan Rice sent an unusual email to herself the day President Trump was sworn into office, documenting former President Barack Obama's guidance at a high-level meeting about how law enforcement should investigate Russian interference in the 2016 presidential race, two Republican senators said Monday, according to Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham. The partially unclassified email was sent by Rice on January 20th and appears to document a January 5th, okay? Now, this happened at a January 5th meeting that included Obama, then FBI Director James Comey, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, then Vice President Joe Biden, and Rice. So on January 5th, remember POTUS wants to know everything. Am I wrong, Amanda? Didn't that say POTUS wants to know everything, right? Everything. Okay, it's got to double check, because that's what Lisa Page sent Peter Strzok from the FBI. POTUS wants to know everything, all right? So he was briefed on where everything was at all times. We don't have time to go in that. So on January 5th, 15 days before Donald Trump is sworn in, there's a meeting between FBI Director James Comey, Sally Yates, which is then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates. See, they know Sally Yates. Now, I mean, all day long, people will break this stuff down, but they know, okay, Sally Yates is going to move over as the acting director of the Department of Justice. So you have the FBI, you have the Department of Justice. Now, why not Loretta Lynch? I don't see her. Let me read this again. It appears to document a January 5th meeting that included Obama, FBI Director Comey, so he's got the FBI, he's got the Department of Justice, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, then Vice President Joe Biden, and then Susan Rice. Where's Loretta Lynch? Why is she not in there? I'll tell you exactly why she's not in there, because they knew on January 20th at 12:01 p.m. when Donald Trump went like this, that Sally Yates would then be the acting director of the Department of Justice, and Susan Rice, which is a liar. She is a no good liar. She lied to the American people. I'm going to tell you something. I know you say politicians do it every day, but when these people get before the cameras and they lie to the American people concerning especially Benghazi and the lives of Americans, you know, I can't get started. Can't get sidetracked. I'm talking to myself here now. So, acting Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates is in the meeting, and Susan Rice. In the email, Obama's National Security Advisor wrote, President Obama began the conversation but stressed his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue be handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities by the book. The president stressed that he is not asked about initiating or instructing anything from law enforcement perspective, he reiterated that our law enforcement team needs to proceed as it normally would by the book. And see, when he said by the book, then he looked, right? Then he looked and he said, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? I mean, you got it, right? Because when I walk out of here in 15 days, all right, we'll take Flynn down. That's the national security, right? Pence is over here, all right? Got Trump. We'll have Sally Yates and Comey. We're set by the book. You understand? You understand? You understand? I'm telling you, folks. I'm telling you, by the book. And I'll tell you why. He looked at me, winked. This is a guy sitting in a field full of daisies. Oh, my God. Napolitano said it appeared to be an effort by Susan Rice to reconstruct history. He said Rice wanted to make Obama appear to be, I don't think ignorant. Yeah, appeared to be ignorant of the fray fermented by his administration to undermine the incoming president. I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Napolitano noted that Obama himself, to Fox's Chris Wallace in 2016, that he didn't speak to anyone at the Department of Justice about any campaign-related investigations. There's a serious disconnect here, Napolitano said. Susan Rice, once again, the list goes on. We cannot continue to go over and over it all the time, because I'm not saying it gets boring, but we are now, that's upsetting. Now we're going to go to break. Let me just say something before we go to break. 36 people. I'm just rolling around the internet, and there's an article out this morning at 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. this article comes out, and it says 36 people who could challenge Trump in 2020. I just thought it was interesting, the headline, right? And Barry Sanders, did I say Barry? Bernie Sanders, that would be it. Vice President Biden, Senator Christian Gillibrand, Senator Elizabeth Warren, Senator Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker, Senator Camilla Harris, former talk show host Oprah Winfrey, former Attorney General Eric Holder, former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro, is that his name? I don't know. Former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley. The list goes on. But here's how I look at it. Donald Trump took out 16. So what's 36? Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about immigration when I come back. All right? And we're going to prepare for our conversation. Our last half hour of the day, we're going to have a brief discussion with Georgia Speaker of the House David Ralston, and then concerning his trip to Washington, D.C., and what the infrastructure bill would mean to Georgia. Also the budget. $4 trillion something budget that the president proposed. What's next? Quadrillion, right? Is that next? Am I here alone? Talking to myself. We'll get right back. Now, I have some bad news. You're going to want to tune in, because not only have they taken and attacked our Confederate statues and symbols in this country, not only have they done that, they are trying to change everything. And now they've gone after ZZ Top. I will explain on the other side of these commercials. Take us to break.